Hello, this is Matt Cannon with my thoughts of the day, and for the first time I'm going to do a product review. I've never done one of those before, so I will be sharing some things with something I recently bought that I just want to share some of the details with you. So my thought of the day today is related to the product review, and my thought of the day is one that I've said quite a bit, and that's Walt Whitman's quote from Song of Myself, where he says, "Do I contradict myself? Very well then, I contradict myself. I am large, I contain multitudes." And where he kind of says, it's okay to contradict yourself. And so when I look at that, I think we look at contradiction as a bad thing. We think of things as, it's zero sum. It's either one way or the other. It's either black or white. There's no in between. There's no gray. And that's a mistaken way to approach things. And I think a lot of people make that mistake. And so what I'm going to talk about today is just keeping that thought in mind. I'm out here in nature, and from a contradiction standpoint, I'm going to talk about a piece of technology. I mean, let's face it, I'm recording this on some technology, but the technology that I'm going to talk about, and is what I'm going to review, is a thing called the Oura ring. If you look at it closely, you see it has all this little gadgets inside of it. I don't know if that's going to focus too well, but it's a piece of tech, and it deals with your health. You just wear it on your finger like so, and it tracks a lot of key indicators for health. It's mainly used for sleep. Sleep is really where it shines, and that's really the area I got it. A couple years back, I read Dr. Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep, and I learned a lot of things about how important sleep is to health, and in how it measures all types of things. What the Oura ring does is it tracks a couple of key indicators. One, it tracks your heart rate, and it tracks your sleep. The heart rate, it tracks your heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is a measurement that is very important. It shows autonomic nervous system, also known as ANS for short. It measures your fight or flight system. So it measures whether or not your rest system, your enteric system, your digestive system, it kind of is a good indicator of all those things. And this ring, this simple little thing that you're wearing made of titanium, mine is coated in silver, but it's a decent looking ring, and it also has lots of tech in it. So it measures your heart rate variability, which is a good indicator of your autonomic nervous system, ANS. It also measures your heart rate. And this thing, they did studies on this that showed it is very close to an ECG, also known as an EKG. ECG is an electrocardiogram, and EKG is what the Germans used previously for the original system. So ECG, EKG, they're kind of the same thing, but these tests was equipment that cost, hundreds of thousands of dollars just for the equipment. And now for this little device, you have it all packed into a ring. And they've shown studies showing that it's almost perfect comparatively with that. And the difference between this and, say, like an Apple Watch, which is another good piece of tech that measures some of these things, is being on your finger, you have a closer and a more close connection to your blood vessels, because on your finger it gets a closer reading, and then this fits really snug, so it's on there and it helps quite a bit. But being able to test your heart rate variability, your heart rate, it also does your respiratory rate. Your respiratory rate is another good thing of the autonomic nervous system. And with things like COVID-19, University of California, San Francisco study going on with this for COVID-19. So you can opt into that if you want to, and they're tracking things. It also does your temperature. So in the COVID-19 world, seeing what your temperature is, seeing what your readiness is, it will give you a score based on your sleep, based on your heart rate, based on your respiratory rate, to see if your system is under stress, and it will give you a readiness score. So the readiness score is actually just kind of an indicator. It's based on algorithms that Oura has developed to show if you should take it easy that day or if you should go at it. To give you an example, my air conditioner in my house broke this last week, which is, when you're living in Florida, that's terrible to have a broken AC system. And there was a couple of nights before I got it fixed where the house was kind of warm and hot. Even with the windows open, breeze coming through, it was hot. We're in Florida, we got humidity, it was very uncomfortable, and I didn't sleep too well. And when I woke up the next morning, I saw that my readiness score had dropped quite a bit. I got an hour less sleep than I was normally getting, plus my readiness score dropped. You can also try different things, like you can test things, you can experiment with things to see how you're doing. And so that way you can actually see deep level, like using technology to track your body in its most natural state. Because when you think of it, there's no contradiction there. I'm out here in nature, I'm enjoying this nice nature preserve. I'm enjoying, kind of the most natural evolutionary thing, which is getting a good night's sleep. A lot of people take sleep for granted. And then I can use technology to help track and actually tell me what's really going on. I can measure it, I can track it over time, I can make notes. The app for Oura also has some pretty cool things in it where you can do like guided meditation. You can take like a quiet moment and you can time it and it will tell you how you're doing. It gives you just that reflective time to kind of get away from everything. So while it's technology, while it's something you wear, a wearable technology, I think it brings us to our most natural state, which is taking care of ourselves, taking care of our body, taking care of our mind, and thinking differently. So I've only had the ring for about a week now, so I'm just learning how it is. The process was pretty cool. It sends you when you order the ring, you get a ring size kit that they're going to send you. If you have a 3D printer, for those of you who are into tech, you can also print out the ring size kit and you can pick what your size is right away. There's little knobs in the ring, so it's a little different than maybe a traditional ring size, but the kit actually sends you pieces that you can see how they fit. And so I just have all those things in this little ring, and it gives me the measurements to see how I'm doing, how I'm sleeping, if nutrition is helping me, if I'm getting ill in any way, shape, or form. There's been lots of studies that have shown people where they got sick, their body was actually giving them signals that they were about to get sick. And so, I think that's pretty cool. I think it's a good thing. And I don't think of it as being a contradiction to have the technology and the nature. And maybe it is a contradiction, but it's one that I will embrace, because I think the two can be used to help each other. You have, on one hand, you have the tech that helps you track the nature. And then you have the nature, which is the reason for the tech. So your body, the natural system, your autonomic nervous system, your mind, your health, your well-being, your longevity, just humanity itself is pairing up with technology to find this good balance. And I think contradiction is not always a bad thing. I think it can be a really good thing. And I think Walt Whitman in the old, he got it right many, many years ago. And now we're repurposing his wisdom, and we're tying it into this technology age that we live in. So I'm out here in nature. It's Easter Sunday. I'm out here just about as natural as you can get. I just walked several miles, and I thought I would come share the technology using this phone, my little communicator device, to share a review on this tech, the Oura Ring, and to give you a little bit of insight to what it does. Learn about your heart rate variability, learn about the importance of sleep, learn about your respiratory rate, your temperature. These are all good things to track, especially in a post-COVID world where we want to have an indicator. You may be asymptomatic, but you still want to pay attention to some of these things that can give you indicators of how you're doing health-wise and how you're doing with your just overall health. So this is Matt Cannon. These are my thoughts of the day. Signing out.